program design. We are at part 7 this week, and yeah, I'm coming to you a little bit behind schedule this morning. So let's see here if we are live on our platforms. I know usually I've been coming on 5 minutes early, but I had some technical difficulties behind the scenes. So perfect. We're live on Facebook. I think we're live on LinkedIn. I really wish I could show you what it looks like behind the scenes here. I have so many devices to make this happen. So perfect. It looks like we are also live on LinkedIn. Wonderful. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. If you've only just joined because you got a notification that Stronger You Senior Fitness was live, or because you saw that Emily Johnson was live, this is the Art of Senior Fitness program design. It's part 7, but if you didn't join us for the other parts, that's okay. You'll still know what's going on. Today, we're talking about a checklist for success. So I'm going to take you through some of the important components of having a really great senior fitness program at your organization. This might be an opportunity for you to just solidify the fact that, yeah, we're doing a really great job, we're hitting all the boxes. Or it could be an opportunity for you to see where you might be able to have an opportunity to improve. So join me for the next 30 minutes here. I got a lot of content that I want to go over in this little 30 minutes of time that we spend together. So we may continue on with this next week as well. So we'll just kind of see how it goes. I don't want to rush through. If you do have any questions, please feel free to comment. Even if you just want to let me know you're here and you're listening, then that's great too. We are live on both LinkedIn and Facebook. So if you do put down a comment or a question, I will just reread it so we can ensure the people on the opposite platforms have an opportunity to hear the question or the comment. Okay. All right. So today I am going to not necessarily use a PowerPoint. I'm going to use the checklist for success. So this checklist is on the Stronger You Senior Fitness LinkedIn and Facebook pages. If you go to the LinkedIn page, it is a PDF, and if you go to the Facebook page, it's 4 images. So I couldn't upload to Facebook as a PDF, but you can certainly download the 4 photos. Now this checklist is meant to be used as 11 by 17, so it's a big checklist, and it's 4 pages, so 2 pages double-sided, okay? And the goal is that you would do a checklist like this every 4 to 6 months in your organization. You might fill it out, put it up on your wall, you're gonna have an action plan, and you're gonna check yourself from time to time to ensure that you're offering the best senior fitness program that you can possibly offer. So we're going to start going through it here, and I'm going to just scroll down to the first, oh, actually that's not the first section. I'm going to scroll down to the first section. So the Art of Senior Fitness Program Design Checklist for Success. So number 1, we're going to start with your foundation. And the first question I want you to ask yourself is, have you or the instructors teaching at your organization completed a senior fitness certification? Now, this is so important. This is the base upon which everything else relies. Having taken a senior fitness certification is going to be the way that you can ensure that you are set up for success. So we really can't move forward from this point. And sometimes I'll hear different excuses on this point. Well, my manager is the one who trained me, or my manager gave me these exercises to teach, or I have a piece of paper that, someone before me or my manager gave me, and I teach those exercises from a piece of paper. So I'm sure your manager is a wonderful human being. I'm sure they're a great fitness instructor, but unless they are a master trainer or they are a senior fitness program facilitator, they have been trained by a senior fitness organization or regulatory body to teach other individuals how to teach a fitness program, then that's not going to be enough. Okay, because what we end up getting is a bit of a game of telephone. And if any of us can imagine sitting in a course, whatever the course is, whether it's a fitness course or if it's any kind of course, you typically can only pick up some of the items in that course. You're not going to get every single tiny little detail committed to memory. And then what happens is you as that individual leading that course, if you then think, okay, I'm going to teach my assistant or my team member what I learned in that course, it becomes a game of telephone where that person is going to only get the partial information that you were able to pick up from your course, and they're only going to pick up a bit of it, and they're only going to be able to implement or teach a few key components of that course. So and then, we see this go on and on as that person becomes a manager and they think, oh, I'll just teach my team what I learned, so on and so forth from there. And we have this game of telephone where the quality, the safety, the effectiveness of the program deteriorates over time. Now, if someone of your manager is a facilitator, then that means that they sat you down and they went through the course and you had a certificate at the end. So in that case, you would be certified. So that's not really an excuse that we can go with. So number one, if you are teaching senior fitness classes, but you are not certified, then you absolutely need to search, get on Google this afternoon, and you need to search Canadian senior fitness certifications, okay? Do the research, find the one that makes sense for you, and move forward with that really solid foundation. If you joined us last week, then we talked about the Stronger You Senior Fitness Certification, so you can check that out from last week. But just do some research, find the one that's going to be right for you. Now, the next point there is, do you or the instructors teaching at your organization take part in annual continuing education? Now, this is nearly just as important as the previous item. Not only is it not enough to be certified, but we need to continue the education. I've talked about this in a few of our sessions together, but the gap from taking your first course to becoming a really great senior fitness instructor takes experience. It takes time. It takes continuing education. And anyone who has taken a senior fitness course knows that most of these organizations require you to take some sort of continuing education. So they do require, usually it's a few courses per year, so that way you can continue to develop yourself as an instructor. And so for us at Stronger You Senior Fitness, we give you 30 new minutes of content and education every single month because we want to help you be the best that you can be. And we know that our course alone, just like all the other courses out there, one course is not enough to help you become an expert for the participants that you're serving. You need that continuing education. So number one, lay the foundation, ensure that you or your team is certified. That's number one. And number two, we need to ensure that we're doing continuing education, okay? We get new research all the time. We get new techniques. We get more best practices. So it is really, really important that we are keeping up with the newest research, with the newest trends, with the newest things. And hopefully you enjoy learning these new parts. Okay, so we'll continue on here. Next, we're going to talk about your program schedule. So you did it, you're certified, you're ready to start planning out your schedule. And whether that's at a community center, 50+ center, senior living, whether you've started your own business and you're renting out a space and offering some classes for older adults throughout the week. First question we have to ask ourselves is, do you offer at least 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity aerobic activity in bouts of 10 minutes or more? Okay. Does this sound familiar? Yes, it's Canada's Physical Activity Guidelines. It's the first guideline. And so if you've printed out the checklist, I know I didn't give you much time to get the checklist. Maybe you're just writing on a blank piece of paper, but I want you to list out the class names or activity and the duration of time that you do it, okay? So later, if you want to access the checklist, you can, and you can actually fill it out right on this checklist that I'm showing you. And if for some reason you can't find it, my email's at the end, and you can always give me a call or give me an email and let me know that you want to obtain the checklist. So take a minute and just jot down the cardio classes that you offer and the duration, okay? Now, as we're doing that, there are a few key points that we need to consider. So number one, are the participants truly achieving a moderate to vigorous pace? So that's about a 5 to a 7 on a scale from 1 to 10. So if you look back up at your list and you've listed all your programs out, and now you think, hey, have I ever checked in with my participants to say, hey, how are you guys feeling? Do you feel like you're working about a 5 to a 7? No, you're only working at a 3? Okay, great. Let's pick up the pace here. It is your job as the instructor to ensure that you are giving your participants what they need to maintain their independence, to stay healthy, to stay strong. And one of the key components is getting to that moderate to vigorous pace. So if you look back at your list and you've written down some classes that you're like, well, no, we don't really work that hard. We don't really get to that moderate to vigorous, huffing and puffing, I can talk but I can't sing pace. I need you to scratch it out. It does not count towards your total, okay? So as you look back, another thing to look at, do your participants maintain that pace for longer than 10-minute bouts? Okay, this is important. So if we think about one of your classes that you offer, is it 5 minutes of marching at the beginning, and then we do some weights, and then we do 5 minutes of some other things? That does not count toward your total. The research really does show that you have to get to that 10-minute threshold in order to see the long-lasting benefits of the physical activity for your heart and for your lungs. This is really important. So if you're counting the 10-minute or 5-minute march, let's say at the beginning of your class, that's a warm-up. That's not your 10 minutes of moderate to vigorous pace, okay? So we really have to be picky about this. And the reason is we want to be amazing. We want to offer great programs to the older adults that we work with. So please be picky. I promise you it's going to work out better for you and your participants in the long run. Another thing we need to take into account is we need to subtract the warm-up and the cool-down time from your class durations above, okay? You're probably thinking by this point, Emily, geez, I'm not going to have any class left, and that's okay. That's an area of opportunity. So I don't want you to think I'm knocking down all that you maybe have written up above, but this is important. This should be a light bulb moment of, wow, okay, maybe I'm not doing as much as I maybe could for the participants that I'm working with. And the reason we can't use the warmth and the cool down is because let's say we're going for a 30-minute walking group. You don't just leave the start line and start getting to that moderate to vigorous pace. You need to gradually get to that pace. Our body is going to have to adjust to the new demands that we're placing upon it, and at least 5 minutes. 5 minutes is the minimum amount of time a warm-up should be, a cardiovascular warm-up where we're starting to bring in those larger range of motion. We're starting to prepare the body for the real work. And then at the end of, let's say, your walking group, your 30-minute walking group, you don't just stop. Or at least I hope you don't just stop. You need to ensure that you're gradually reducing that pace. You're helping that body continue to pump that blood through the circulation and get you ready for that post-exercise state. So back to a almost resting state where the heart and lungs aren't working so hard, and maybe you're just ready to go back to the rest of your day. So important things to consider. I'm going to pause there. Again, as I said in the beginning, this is the Art of Senior Fitness Program Design Checklist to Success. The checklists are available on Facebook and LinkedIn. If you want to obtain them afterwards, if you can't find them, send me an email. I'll send them out to you. And I'll just pause to see if we have any questions. I want to make sure that this is making sense for everyone. Let's see here. So LinkedIn looks to be okay, and Facebook looks to be okay as well. All right, so we will continue on here. So next, we're on to page 2. We're still on the program schedule. Now the next question we're going to ask ourselves is, do you offer at least 2 days per week of muscle and bone strengthening activities for all the major muscle groups? This might include strength training with weights, bands, exercise machines. It could be body weight. And just like with the cardio programs we talked about, I want you to list the class names and activities that you do here in the line so you can see it. Which ones are your options? And it's good to have more than 2 options because we know not everyone is going to be able to come to every class that you offer. So you might need to have multiple options in order for your participants to come to the program. Now, again, we've got some key points to consider. You're like, geez, Emily, you're really not letting us off the hook. No, I'm not. This is important. I'm going to push you to be excellent. And in order to be excellent, we have to consider these nitty-gritty details. So number 1, oh, this is a pet peeve of mine. Are your participants using sufficient weight or resistance to challenge their muscles? For example, are they using a dumbbell weight, TheraBand, or weight on a machine where they can complete 8 to 12 repetitions, where the last few repetitions are hard to complete? Okay, excuse me. So I'll try not to launch into my typical tangent when it comes to this item here, but one of my pet peeves when I go into a fitness class or an organization, a fitness center, and the instructor pulls out the dumbbells or the bands or the rack of weights, and all I see is, can you guess it? 1 and 2 pound weights. Oh, I could just lose my mind. 1 and 2 pound weights do not give us the functional strength we need in order, or older adults need, in order, anyone really, in order to maintain their independence. And I know it probably comes from an area of comfort, maybe, not realizing that they have the ability to lift more than 1 or 2 pounds. So if I had a magic genie and they gave me 3 wishes, my number 1 wish would be to remove the 1 and 2 pound weights from across this beautiful country of ours. Poof, they'd all be gone. Okay. So what I recommend is have the conversation with your class at the beginning of every class. Have them think about it during the class. Is this weight challenging enough for you? And talking about the importance of it. If you're not challenging your muscles will continue to decline. From age 25 forward, okay, this is not just for older adults. If you are not engaging your muscles, if you're not giving them a challenge, some sense of progression, then they will atrophy about 1% strength every single year from the age 25 forward. Okay, so for all of us, this is a really good, even for you as an instructor. Can you up your weight during your class to really get the benefits for you? Okay, active aging doesn't start at age 65. Active aging, we're all aging. We all have to do it actively. So please do some education with your team. With your team as well, if you're not the one doing the program, but with your participants about how they can get the most of their program. And that starts with just picking the right weights. Okay. Next question, are you engaging all of the major muscle groups? So that's the shoulders, the biceps, the triceps, the chest, the back, the abdominals, can't see my lower body, but the glutes, the hamstrings, the quadriceps, the gastrocnemius, and the anterior tibialis, okay? These you need to check for every muscular strengthening program that you offer. So important. So again, if you scroll back up to your list, when's the last time that you talked about what weights you should be choosing? When's the last time you ensured that your program had all of the weights, had all of the major muscles as part of your program? These are really important components, okay? All right, we seem to be rolling good. Time is rolling. And Indira from Facebook says, great, Emily, thanks. That's awesome. So hi, Indira. Now we're going to keep going on to the next aspect here. So the next question I want you to ask yourself, do you offer programming at least 3 days per week to help prevent falls and increase balance? So these are programs which are going to help improve coordination, whole body strength, walking ability, range of motion, flexibility. Most falls happen when an older adult does a transition or is caught off guard or is rushing, and a fall means you went from a standing position to a horizontal position most of the time. So we need to do activities that help us maintain that vertical position, help us maintain that lower body strength, that flexibility, so we can move with ease through our environment. Now I'll scroll down here a little more. So I want you again to list the class and activity names and that you offer to help improve balance and prevent falls. Now note, some of these classes you may have already listed above in the checklist, and that's okay, because things that are good for the heart and lungs, that are good for your overall strength, are also going to be things that help prevent balance. So here's the one time where you should be saying, thanks, Emily, that seems like you're letting us off really easy. I don't have to have a whole another group of programming. So at least 3 days per week of that program there. Okay, now again, there is going to be a couple key points to consider. So as I said, the programs that help you meet those 150 and the 2 days of muscle and balance also do prevent the fall. So my top recommendation, hit the first 2 standards, you're probably going to hit the third. Okay. All right, so now program enhancement. You want to have a fantastic, spectacular, top-notch senior fitness program. So it's not enough just to have the classes and do the repetitions and sit there and get through it. We want to enhance our program, make it exciting and make it fun. So ask yourself the question, do you offer something for everyone or components to engage additional dimensions of wellness? Okay, so number 1 question, do you offer intellectual engagement as part of your program? It's really great that the research is telling us that just being physically active has so many intellectual benefits, but we can really intentionally enhance that through adding certain components. So can you add brain games? Can you add combinations to your program? Can you add a memory task where at the beginning, let's say this week we're going to try to remember 4 things. At the end of the class on your way out, I want you to write those 4 things down on a piece of paper. So can you actually intentionally add intellectual engagement to your program? Okay, so on the line there, write the ways in which you're offering intellectual engagement. Is it patterns? Is it combinations? Is it brain games? Is it challenges? What are you doing to help the older adults you work with maintain their intellectual health as well? Do you offer social engagement? Yes, we're going to be hopefully in a group doing group fitness, and so it's social, but how are you intentionally helping make those connections? Do you have an opportunity to introduce new members to the group? Do you have an opportunity for people to learn each other's names? That's another way we can actually add in an intellectual component, is by having people learn each other's names. For example, let's say you are doing a program where you're working on coordination. Let's say you've got your whole group, they're sitting in a big circle and they have a ball. We're going to go around the circle, we're going to say everyone's name, and then we're going to take the ball. You have to say the person's name before you toss it to them. Okay? Or maybe you have everyone go around the room, say their name and the hometown that they're from. Okay? You're taking it up another level. So you have to say Joan from Saskatoon. Throw it over, okay? So now after class, when people are putting on their coats and shoes and things, they can say, hey, Joan, I didn't know you're from Saskatoon. I'm from Saskatoon as well. And maybe we're gonna have these really awesome new friendships coming out of the program as well. Scroll down a little bit here for you. Do you offer emotional and spiritual engagement? So anytime we can bring an emotional tie to anything, research shows that we are going to be more likely to remember it and more likely to want to continue to do it, okay? When we have an emotional tie to the program, okay? So one way to do this is through music. Not everyone loves exercise, but typically we can find some music that has some real meaning and really makes the program much more enjoyable. Over the years, I've had individuals come to my class, listen to the music, and just do their own thing in the back corner. So, not ideal, but I was glad that they were coming out, they were enjoying the music, and they were getting active nonetheless. Spiritual components, so things like mindfulness, guided meditation, purposeful breathing, all of these key components that help reduce stress, reduce the risk of heart disease, all of these wonderful things that we can just simply add to our program. Can we add it to the cool down at the end of the program, really to enhance and create something for everyone? And finally, a sense of purpose. I love this one. Again, research is showing if you are able to add that sense of purpose to your program, your people will be much more likely to continue to attend, to adhere to the program, because now it's about more than just fitness. It's about something larger than themselves. So a way to do this is ambassadors, having program ambassadors, people to set up the chairs, the water, to help introduce new people, to help find them a seat, help them get their weights and not 1 and 2 pound weights, help them pick out the 3 or 4 pound weight, find the weight that's right for them. Can you include some sort of goal setting? Can you include a group goal that we're all working towards together? So again, on each of these lines, I want you just to write in what you're doing in order to engage each of these dimensions of wellness. Okay. As usual, the time is just ticking right along. If you do have any questions, feel free to throw them in there, and I'll answer as we go here. All right, moving right along, program awareness. So now you're trained, you've got all the right programs, you've got something for everyone. What are you now going to do to create awareness for your program? So I want you to list all the ways that you create awareness. Is it an advertisement? Is it a poster? Is it a telling the other staff members in your organization about the program so that they can talk to it? This works really well in senior living, where if you tell the housekeepers and the dining room staff what's going on in your fitness program and challenge each of them to tell someone at lunch or while they're cleaning a room about your program, about the benefits, then you're likely going to get people who are going to want to come to your program, and maybe they didn't know about those benefits. So list all the ways that you're creating awareness. And again, key points to consider. Do you have a way to communicate the benefits of your program? Do you know the benefits of your program? We did a series on muscular strengthening, so you can check back at that series of the Art of Senior Fitness Program Design. We're going to talk about cardio in a few weeks. So know the benefits of your program. What are they going to get out of it? And further to that, do you tailor the program benefits to the person inquiring about your program? This is really, really key. So we just talked about some multi-dimensions that you can add to the program. And if you're able to link the benefit to what interests the individual most, then you can really get them to be more interested and want to come to your program. So as an example, let's say we meet someone and they're not really interested in being physically fit, but they're very, very interested in keeping their brain sharp. So for them, we want to talk about the intellectual benefits, how doing fitness is one of the best things that they can do in order to maintain their cognitive health. Let's say they just want to meet friends. They hate exercise. They just want to meet friends. Talk about the social component. Talk about the friendships that have come out of your program, okay? Okay, we're in our last few minutes here. This always happens, always too much to say, too little time. We will go over this last component though next week as well. So next week we're going to talk about exercise adherence and also well, actually, maybe in 2 weeks. I'll let you know. I don't want to pack too much into these sessions as I'm showing today. So program adherence. Do you use programs and tactics to keep your participants coming back? So I want you to list the ways that you increase program adherence. And again, key points to consider. Do you offer person-centered goal setting or physical assessment? Okay. So I think this is what I want to talk about next week. I'm going to give you another resource to use, sort of like a fitness onboarding with your new participants. So stay tuned for that. We'll talk more about that next week. Do you offer contests to create excitement and gamification? I think this is what I want to talk about the week after. So there is a way to create excitement. You can make a contest. You can do prize giveaways. You can make it fun. You do a point system. And do you offer progression and novelty? Do you offer a way for people to say, okay, this is where you're at. This is the class for you. Now this is the next level. You want to have that progression and novelty to keep it fresh, keep it exciting, and to continue to see the benefits. Okay, it is 1 o'clock on the dot Eastern time, 11 Mountain, and 9 10 Pacific. So that is our time together. Thank you so much for joining me today. So this is available on the Stronger You Senior Fitness LinkedIn and Facebook pages. I'll also put up my contact information here. So if you can't find it, give me an email, emily@strongeryouSeniorFitness.com, and I will send it to you. If you want to fill out your checklist and you want me to take a look at it and you have some questions about how you can make sure that you're offering the best program possible, feel free to send me an email, let me know. And I apologize for starting a little bit late and ending a little bit late today. But thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful afternoon, or if it's out west, you're just getting started. So enjoy your day, everyone. We'll see you next Friday for the Art of Senior Fitness Program Design. Thank you so much.